Hi, I'm Hoyt.
And I'm Carly.
And we are Candy Apple Blue. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the song If Anyone Falls, as recorded by Stevie Nicks and co-written by Sandy Stewart. The song peaked at number 14 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 charts in November of 1983. It was off her second solo album, The Wild Heart.
In the fall of 1982, Stevie began composing and preparing new material for her follow-up to her Billboard #1 smash solo album, Belladonna. Belladonna yielded 3 huge hits: Stop Dragging My Heart Around with Tom Petty, the Don Henley duet Leather and Lace, and the haunting Edge of 17. The 1980s was a very busy time for the White Winged Dove songstress. Not only was her solo career taking off into the stratosphere, she was also keeping her commitment to her band Fleetwood Mac, which made her a star and put her on the map. If Anyone Falls was written in a similar fashion as Stand Back. Stevie Nicks composed what is known as a top line in the recording industry. Many of today's artists, like Taylor Swift, for example, will be sent an instrumental by a beat maker or a music producer, and she will then go in and record a top line.
As it's been well documented, she wrote the song Stand Back in a similar fashion, where she wrote the lyrics over top of Little Red Corvette after hearing it on the radio.
Writing a top line means composing the lyrics and vocal melodies over top of a pre-recorded piece of music.
This style of songwriting proved to work well for Stevie on Stand Back, so she wanted to try it again.
Gordon Perry, a record producer from Dallas, Texas, was a close friend of Stevie's and heard that she was looking for new material for her second solo album. It was at that time that he came across the demo by then unknown artist Sandy Stewart. The first track on this demo was a song called The Last American. He instantly fell in love with this instrumental and knew that Stevie would too, so we forwarded the cassette tape to her. Stevie remembers going into the bathroom the night she received the tape with Sandy Stewart's instrumental on it. She liked the way the acoustics of the small tiled room made her voice sound, so she would go there for inspiration. With this magical instrumental filling the room, she grabbed her portable cassette tape recorder and began to sing in the top line for If Anyone Falls. What came out of this was a first-time collaboration with Sandy Stewart, not even being in the same room.
Stevie is often referred to this time period of writing, The Wild Heart, as the love time of her life, when everyone around her was either falling in love or out of love, getting married or getting divorced, including her. It was a time when you could walk into a room and fall in love with a total stranger.
Sandy Stewart has a very sophisticated writing style, which is evident when you look back at her songwriting catalog, most notably songs that feature Stevie Nicks as the vocalist. Songs like 7 Wonders, Too Far From Texas, and Maybe Love Will Change Your Mind are songs that she's contributed to Stevie's enduring catalog.
The two worked together closely on The Wild Heart and Sandy Stewart's solo album. Sandy's an incredibly gifted songwriter and vocalist who's often drawn comparisons to Stevie herself. The similarities between the two become obvious when you hear Stevie and Sandy singing together on songs like I Pretend and Nightbird. Even on her debut single Your Saddest Victory, her vocal performance has a bit of a Stevie flair. It should be noted that Sandy also wrote songs for other successful pop sensations like Tina Turner, Belinda Carlisle, and Kim Wilde.
And I especially love the composition that Kim Wilde recorded of hers called Heart Over Mind. It does have a very Stevie Nicks sophisticated flair. In fact, I venture to say that anything that Sandy Stewart has written is sophisticated. Hoyt and I often joke that he is the Stevie Nicks of the band and I am the Christine McVie. I like my songs to make perfect sense, just like Christine Perfect. I like to tell a story and fill in all of the pieces, whereas Hoyt will often write in more of an abstract, ethereal way that leaves the listener room to fill in the dots with their own imagination. Our different approaches to songwriting, however, always make our original compositions better in the end.
So Carly, you came up with this concept of covering the song and turning it into a duet. Can you tell me a little bit where you got that inspiration from? As I can't say that I've heard another Stevie Nicks song that wasn't already a duet turned into a duet.
Well, before I came up with the idea to record the song, period, I put out a Facebook post in the fall of 2024 asking our audience which song they thought would be a good fit for us. And I had 3 options, and that was That's All by Genesis, If Anyone Falls by Stevie Nicks, and Just Remember I Love You by Firefall. And it became immediately clear that If Anyone Falls seemed to resonate the most with our core audience. I was actually on my way to meet you for lunch, Hoyt, and it kind of came to me while I was driving. Immediately thought like, well, if we're going to record this song, how could we make it different? And it immediately just kind of dawned on me, oh my God, this should be a duet. And I immediately thought of our go-to vocalist, Nick Bramlett, and instantly thought of Apollo Rogers. We've actually never recorded a duet before.
And when you mentioned that to me, it really turned a light bulb in my brain as well, because the song actually sounds like a conversation between 2 people, but that had not been explored before.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, it works so well as a duet, as you guys will soon discover. What makes it really work is the passionate vocal performances. Well, I think our version also has like a modern day crossover pop country flair, which of course the original did not. It was a little bit more rock and roll, but 80s rock and roll with synthesizers. And I think the focus on our version is it's all about the vocals,
And when it comes to having a little bit of a country flair, let's not forget Leather and Lace was intended for Waylon Jennings and Jesse Coulter to actually record first before she did. And one of the reasons I agreed to do this song as a cover with you as well was just because I really like the idea of exploring the lyrics as a conversation between 2 people. As Stevie wrote, it will be done to us. So it felt more like it could really be a proper discussion from one vocalist to the other. And reimagining this song as a duet was an exciting, original idea. And really exploring where this song goes when it's just a discussion between 2 people about if anyone falls, it will be one of us. It will be done to us.
Before the recording session took place, we had the opportunity to sit down with both Nick and Apollo, and this is what they had to say.
Apollo Rogers.
Nick Bramlett.
Mm-hmm. And Apollo, what does this song mean to you? I grew up listening to Stevie Nicks. My mom's a big fan, and she always represented the ethereal part of life for me. Just very kind of out there.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Kind of like Stevie Nicks is. Yeah. No, I love that, and I love that your mother. Nice. No, and I love that your mother introduced you to Stevie Nicks. Yeah. Because you're a lot younger.
Yeah, no, music was a big part of growing up in my house, so it's a big part of my house now that I'm an adult.
That's right.
I think that everybody should sing. It's good for the soul.
And Nick, what is your relationship with Stevie Nicks or this song in general?
I would say I'm in the honeymoon stage with Stevie Nicks. I love her music. I grew up with my mother listening to Stevie Nicks. She's always been part of my house.
And your best friend loves Stevie Nicks too,
yeah,
isn't that right?
My best friend has been following Stevie Nicks around the country.
I've seen Stevie twice, once with Fleetwood Mac and once by herself with Billy Joel. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It's magical. I got the 3 CD disc set for my 10th birthday. And Enchanted, and you can't even get it anymore. And there's songs on there that...
Enchanted is a great compilation.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And it's not on Spotify. It's not on any streaming service yet.
But yeah, that was Carly and I's very first concert was at Tango in the Night. So,
we were I was 13, you might have been 11 years old. And that was back when the concert tickets were $16.50.
And they're only 25 now, so it wasn't that long ago.
That was the height of their career too, the pinnacle of their success.
1986, we sat up in the nosebleeds and everybody was smoking pot. We were 13 getting high.
But anyways, we have this great new song coming out and we cannot wait for you guys to hear it. It is our cover of
If Anyone Falls.
My fascination with this song began in 1983. I remember going to Hill's department store in Belle Vernon and purchased the cassette tape of The Wild Heart when I was only 11 years old. I used my hard-earned allowance money to buy it. Also, I have this memory of going over to a friend's house who had MTV and watching the music video and being totally enthralled by it. At that point in my life, it was the most magical thing I'd seen. I sat there in total amazement.
If Anyone Falls still remains a fan favorite to this day and is a staple in her live concert gigs. In fact, when she performed the song at the PPG Center the last time we saw her, it was an absolute magical moment in the show, and I really connected with it the moment it came on and brought me to my feet.
You know, honestly, it's no secret that Stevie Nicks is a gay goddess who's been adored by the LGBT community for decades now. An artist of her caliber sits high on the ranks of her other gay-loved musical peers, such as Beyoncé, Taylor Swift, Cher, Madonna, and even Kate Bush. Producing this record was also a lot of fun for us. I've got to say, we all poured our musical hearts into this. Micah Blakesley, who played both the acoustic and electric guitars in this song, just did an outstanding job. I sent him the chord chart, and within a few days, he sent me all the licks back. So, I'm just really proud of the work that he did on this record. And I also really enjoyed working with mixing and mastering engineer Math Bishop. He really brought our vision to life. And not to mention how amazing I think Apollo and Nick sound together. I think that this could be the start of something really special and really beautiful. But, in the end, it's up to you guys. You guys have to tell us, do you want more duets from us? Do you like where we're going with this? And leave us your thoughts in the comment section below.
And we invite you to hear the song here on YouTube Music. We'll pin the link to the top of the comment section below.
I think what's most important to us is that this song resonates and connects with you guys, our listeners. If this song put a smile on your face or made you happy, or if you thought that it was intriguing to hear the song in a different way, then we've done our job.
Thanks for stopping by and spending time with Candy Apple Blue.
Until the next time.